Greetings, everyone. Greetings and blessed to everyone out there. Thank you so much for joining Chant A Psalm A. I'm on YouTube live and I'm on the gram live. So we're reaching out with the Psalm today on two platforms. Okay. The gram, thank you, and YouTube. And we're going to be filling up your heart today with a bountiful blessing of nourishment for your life. So when I looked at the psalm today and I looked at the verse today, oh my goodness, I was quite impressed with the verse of the day. And I have the verse of the day on my phone. And it's coming from Matthew 5:11 to 12. Matthew 5:11. What is it? It's Matthew 5:11 to 12. Matthew 5:11 to 12. Yeah. So this is the Beatitudes, okay? That's in Matthew. And Matthew 5 is the Sermon on the Mount. And it's the Beatitudes. I can't even pronounce that, y'all. Apologies. Blessed rise, blessed rise. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining Chant A Psalm A. We are here. I'm so excited because I have had a breakthrough. Oh my goodness, it's been a breakthrough. And I have my sage. This is my sage. And sage is cleansing. It is, oh my goodness. It actually, the ancients use this. The ancients use this for taking out negative energies. Negative energies. Greetings of love and happiness with gratitude, great gratitude for the Most High daily. Oh, what happened to my gram? Okay, we're going to start up again here. I don't know why it ended on the gram. It just went out. But welcome to Chant A Psalm A. Thank you so much for joining. I wanted to get on the gram as well because we're reaching a massive amount of people. People are looking at their lives differently. People are finding the truth within themselves to be authentic. People are leaving abusive relationships. People are leaving unhappy relationships, and they're giving the strength to do that because of the power of righteousness that's moving and clearing the path. So this is what the sage does, is clears and gets rid of the negative arguments and strife, and it gives a sense of calmness, and it gives a sense of oneness, and it gives a sense of blessedness, and it's just awesome. So I want to shout out to everyone who is on here, on the gram and on my YouTube. Thanks for joining. We're gonna get right into it, y'all, because time is a ticking. Time is a ticking. So I have my hot tea. I always tell folks it's good to start off the day with a hot water, lemon squeeze inside of there, and drink that. It'll break all of the fat in your stomach. So if you have fat and you want it gone, get up and drink some hot tea in the rise. Okay, so we have this. And shout out to my Instagram folks out there. Someone is saying that they're tired this morning. Okay, the reason for tiredness in the rise is about, yes, Trying to get to bed early. My bedtime is 7 a.m. I mean p.m. 7 p.m. I try to go to rest at 7 p.m. And sometimes I don't. Like yesterday, I didn't get to bed until like really late because I came in late. I was, traveling from one state to the next. So, that's one of the reasons. Look, see, that's the sage. Okay. So sage is quite powerful. Okay, put it right there. So as we get into the psalm today, yes, someone said they need to start drinking some more tea. You need to drink hot tea. I drink this yogi tea, and on the back of the little tea bag, it has little quotes, and this quote is, "Even a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a first step." What is the first step we're gonna take? What is the first step that we're going to take in our lives to make our lives better? Even a journey of 1,000 miles, right? You take need a small step. So when I look at the verse today, the Beatitudes, it's called Beatitudes. It's about opening your mouth and speaking. Blessed are the poor in righteousness, for the poor in righteousness is the kingdom of peace. Not peace, but tranquility, heaven, happiness, idleness. Blessed are those that mourn, for those that mourn shall be comforted. Okay. Blessed are the meek, for the meek shall inherit the earth. Not the coward. Those who cower behind something or someone is a coward. Okay. Blessed are the pure in heart, for the pure in heart shall see God. People say they gotta die to see God. You gotta be dead to go to heaven, work like a slave, and then you're gonna be in heaven after you give your life to a job, or you give your life to something other than the Most High. So when we talk about this meek and inheriting the earth, we have to be able to be humble ourselves in that way of mercy and compassion. Okay. Okay, yes, we want to rest in power all of those who have passed on before us. We have to realize and know that people are still here. Okay, they might not be physically, but they are here. So when we look at the verse today, and it's coming from Matthew chapter 5, and we're talking about the Beatitudes. The Beatitudes is an attitude. You have to have this attitude. You have to be blessed for people that are sad and mourning. I'm mourning. I'm mourning my dad that passed away, and I'm comforted in that. Some folks have not comforted me or given me condolences, who have been my friend for years and my companion, my closest companion. However, we still have to know that we have to stay in our good place. So blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. So I hunger and I thirst for righteousness. I'm hungry for it. Like a person who's, got an addiction. I'm addicted to pursuing righteousness. I'm not going to pursue a person, right? I'm not going to pursue someone because someone told me that they want to pursue this person. Like, go ahead, you're going to pursue that person. You better get what you're going to get. So when you pursue righteousness, you're going to be satisfied. But when you pursue people, you may be disappointed. Just letting you know that, okay? You may be disappointed. I turned the double five. Double five, I turned on Friday, the 27th of September. I turned double five. So in that growth and in that full circle coming into a full earth strong, being on the earth for 55 years, I have learned some things. I have learned some things, okay? And I have learned that you cannot expect anything from anyone. I don't care if they're the love of your life. You cannot expect anything from anyone. You only expect from yourself respect, okay? So blessed are the merciful, for the merciful shall receive mercy. Okay, are you merciful? Do you show mercy to folks? If you don't, then that's why you're not receiving it. Okay, so when you receive mercy, is because you have blessed the merciful. Okay, blessed are the pure in heart, for the pure in heart shall see God. Right? Your heart has to be pure. It has to be light. You shouldn't have any lies in there. You shouldn't be sneaking around behind your partner's back talking to your ex. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be honest, have integrity. Don't be a coward, for crying out loud. Stop being a coward and stand up for righteousness, right? You don't got to stand up for me. You don't have to stand up for that person, but stand up for righteousness. Stand up for what is right, man. People always try to be deceptive and deceiving. And when that happens, they wonder why God is so far from them, because they're not having a pure heart. Your heart has to be pure for you to see God. You don't have to die, y'all. I see God every single day. I'm seeing God. I'm feeling God. I'm hearing, the Most High Jah Rastafari, all the time, every day. So I am going to clean my heart out in order to see that righteousness of the Most High. So my heart is broken. It was broken. It is kind of still broken. However, who heals the broken heart? The same one who you're going to see, because your heart is pure. So that pureness of that heart is healed. The brokenness of it is healed. So why should we fuss? Why should we fight? Because blessed are the peacemakers, for the peacemakers shall be called sons and daughters of God. When you are about tranquility, as El Sue greeted here on the YouTube, tranquility, that is what peace is ultimately. So the tranquility of those that have a love tranquility maker, I'm going to call it tranquility maker, as opposed to peacemaker, okay? So tranquility maker, a calm maker, okay, gives a inheritance. It's an inheritance that's given. So blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness. Okay, when you are attacked because you want to do the right thing, right? Then that's what happens. Many people are in relationships where they're walking in pins and needles, and they don't want to do the right thing for fear of the consequence or the repercussions of a person, right? And instead of erring on the side of righteousness, they err on the side of wrongness and keep on the wrongness. So when their life is in turmoil, they wonder why this is happening to them. It's because you are not erring on the side of righteousness. Because blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So when you stand up for righteousness, and people attack you, don't worry about it, because guess what? Your future is going to be in a happy place. That's going to be the outcome. So don't worry about people that persecute you because you tell the truth or you want to do the right thing. When two people are going into a store and one wants to steal and the other one wants to not steal, what is going to happen? The one who doesn't want to steal is going to be persecuted. Peer pressure, man. You weak, man. You don't want to go and rob this store, man. They're going to get persecuted for wanting to do the right thing. Like, no, dude, don't do that. Let's make our own store. Let's go into business together. We don't have to steal from this store. We can create our own store. You know what I'm talking about? But guess what? If that person is not righteous, they're going to persecute that other person for wanting to do the right thing. Okay? So, blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So when people lie to you, they cheat on you, they use you, and just left you out to dry, guess what? You're going to have a future that's bright because you sought to do the right. But people are seeking to do the wrong. Let me talk to you two over here, Instagram. Blessed. Now, the verse today is from Matthew 5:11-12. And this is what spurred this whole thing on. Verse of the day. And this verse of the day, I had to read the entire Beatitudes. So verse 11 is where the verse of the day came from. Blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on account of your righteousness. Okay? When people are doing these things evil against you because you want to do the right thing, you're blessed. You are blessed when others are reviling and persecuting you for righteousness. Rejoice. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in happiness. Your happiness is going to be the outcome when you rejoice and are glad when people coming at you persecute. When people do something, they want to curse you out, leave unfriendly voicemails, all this stuff. Guess what? Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in happiness. For so the prophets were persecuted who came before you, So this ain't nothing new. People always get persecuted for speaking the truth and doing the righteous thing. Look at Martin Luther King. Look at Malcolm X. Look at Marcus Garvey. Look at all these Black leaders who have stood for truth and wanted equality and have been shot down or been persecuted. Okay? So the Beatitudes gives us a foundation. It gives us something to stand on, for crying out loud. It gives us a motivation for what we need to do in our lives today. When people when we trust in people and we put our faith in them, we invest in them, we love them, and then they turn around and take a knife and stab us in the back and twist it. And it's being twisted. You can feel it in your stomach. When that happens, you don't want to do folks bad. You don't want to send bad to folks. You want to be glad and rejoice because your reward is great in happiness. Okay? Because they persecuted the prophets who were before you too. All right? So I love that the verse today gives us this foundation for what the psalm is today. And our psalm today is coming from 62. My life waits for righteousness alone. Yeah. That's what my life waits for. It doesn't wait for people to change. I'm not going to wait for people to be kind. I'm not going to wait on people to come help me with my belongings. I'm not going to wait for people to do the right thing. I'm going to wait for righteousness alone. Okay, that's who you wait on. I'm not waiting for you to get your life together and, come out of an abusive relationship and try to stand up for yourself. Try to be, somebody with a backbone, instead of a snake. A snake doesn't have a backbone. And when people are coward, they crawling on their bellies, right? Hiding from you because they know they done did you wrong. So when that happens, you have an advocate, and that advocate is the Most High. And when anyone does anything nefarious or wrong to children of the Most High, you better watch out. You better watch out. I'm not wishing any bad on folks. That is for the Most High to deal with. Righteousness, the almighty goodness, is going to deal with folks. So the psalm today is very powerful because we jumped off with the Beatitudes. Now we're going into this. For I ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of what is righteous, what is good. Okay. You may not accept it out there. Some people don't accept me. Okay. Because I am about truth, and the truth may hurt. And it's uncomfortable. And people want to be ignorant. They want to stay in their bliss of ignorance. They don't want to come out of that and see themselves. Open up your heart and look at yourself and see the damage that was done in your childhood. See the damage that was done in past relationships. Open your heart up and surrender it to righteousness so it can be cleaned out. So your heart could be ready and good for someone or something or for yourself. You got to clean it out. So the psalm today, 62, looks at that. For righteousness alone, my life waits in silence. In silence. Not going to... Okay. From righteousness comes my future. So when you do right today, you're going to get right tomorrow. You know what I mean? My mom said that. Do good and good gonna come to you. Do good and good gonna come to you. So who is your rock and your salvation? Who is your fortress? Righteousness. And you shall not be shaken, because righteousness is your stronghold. I have to put the fan on, y'all. Righteousness is your stronghold. Okay. People come and they stalk my channel. They stalk this channel. They do. People stalk my social media to see what I'm talking about. If I'm talking about them, or if I'm talking about something about them in relation to them. But yeah, I'm going to talk about me. I'm going to talk about how things have affected me, and that could help somebody else. And looking at the scriptures in looking at people's lives and how people deal with you, right? So yeah, go ahead. You can stalk this channel and you can, look at what's going on with my life. because I am not giving access to my life to anyone just willy-nilly anymore. So if you talk to me on the phone, you're a person that I'm giving access to me. I'm not going to give access to everybody or anybody who has um, deceived or been dishonest, or you know what I mean, or devalued my kindness and my love and that sort of thing. So you don't have access to me like that anymore. You're just not. Um, the Ooh, this smells so good. And then I have frankincense and myrrh as well. So the waiting in silence is about that. It's just staying to yourself and having that, knowing that you have that salvation and that future. So that alone is your rock and your salvation. That's your fortress. And you will not be shaken when you stay in there. But when you come out and you start going into your own understanding, like, oh my goodness, I'm not good enough, I'm blah, 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 the foundation crumbles. So you want to keep that foundation steady. You want to keep that foundation, good. You want to keep it good. So in that, you're not going to be shaken. You're not. So verse 3, how long will all of you attack and batter? People are in abusive relationships. How long will you attack a person to batter them? Like a leaning wall, a tottering fence. So it's a question. How long? How long? Verse 4. The people who are attacking only plan to thrust folks down from their high position. They take pleasure in falsehood. They bless with their mouths, but inwardly they're cursed. They are cursing you. Selah. Okay? So I had someone call me and said happy birthday. They don't know me. They're with my ex and called and said happy birthday to me and from my ex's phone. And I'm like, okay. I wanted to say, like, how did you know that this was my birthday? Like, why are you calling from her phone? Like, have you kidnapped her? Are you holding her hostage? Like, what is happening? Are you the warden? Are you the jail warden? And she's behind bars and you're speaking on her behalf? Like, what is going on? People are really in situations that I really, my heart goes out. So when I look at the Psalm 4, blessing me with a birthday greetings, but inwardly you are jealous and envious and insecure. And the reason is because you're on the person's phone calling me instead of the person calling me, and the person is someplace cowardly hiding. And I laugh at it because it's silly. It's so immature in high school that I am glad that righteousness removed me from certain folks, because now I see they're not, or they probably were never mature for me in that way. And I love folks. I don't hate anyone, but I realize that people have issues, and that issues stem from childhood. That's why they cannot open their heart and surrender to God, or goodness and mercy and righteousness, and being, having humility, and not jealousy, and not envy, and not insecurity, but being secure in Christ, being secure in the Most High. And folks are not secure in that, and they end up, falsely creating this idea that somebody's after them and they want their relationship, and they're just insecure. Um, and I've dealt with that. I've dealt with that. I know someone right now who is doesn't want to see what they've done wrong. They've always pushed it off to the side and not taken accountability because they have childhood trauma. And this childhood trauma interferes with their perceptions and their views, you know, and calling people names. I was with someone that did that years ago, calling people name, call me a black bitch, and the person is black too. Like, that's childhood trauma. So we look at how we can live with harmony. We can live, and when you see your life and your relationship, your job, your career isn't going in the right way you want it to go, you gotta look at yourself. And sometimes it's hard. People jump from relationship to relationship and they never find themselves in those relationships because they're catering to somebody else and never getting time to take care of them. So I'm glad that I can be in a space, this space that I'm in here, and there's no conflict. Maybe my son and I, we can get into it, but he's learning and I'm learning. We're learning each other, because one day he's gonna have a wife and he's gonna have his own little family, and bye. you know so when we look at inner conflict, sometimes people put these inner conflicts onto other folks. So for righteousness alone, my life is going to wait in silence, right? For my future is in righteousness. Righteousness is the only rock and the only salvation, the only fortress. I shall not be shaken. Righteousness rests on my future and my glory. My mighty rock, my safety is the Most High. So glory to God be the glory, to Jah be the glory, to Jehovah Jireh, however you want. That is your personal relationship. Build that relationship with yourself, with the Most High. Trust in that righteousness at all times, and pour out your heart before righteousness, because you're going to surrender your heart before righteousness so it can get cleansed. You know what I mean? And all the trauma from wherever you got the trauma from can dissipate. It can, alleviate that trauma. So you rest yourself, you rest your future in righteousness, and that glory is that, to God be the glory. So you trust in righteousness at all times, and you're pouring out your heart before that righteousness. So people of low estate are but a breath, right? Those of high estate are just a delusion. Don't think because they're high up there, they're all of that. It's just a delusion. We got celebrities. I saw Cat Williams at the comedy show in Oklahoma, and Cat Williams is a celebrity, right? But he's 5'2", I think. I think he's short, and I was glad I got the chance to hang out with them after the show. I was, and I didn't take any pictures of that because, hanging out with males, celebrity males, and I told them that I was in the Frankie Beverly. I'm the laid back girl. So they all were, happy to meet somebody from Frankie Beverly's video. So I got to, hang out, and I got to be around people of high estate. But it's just a delusion, according to the Psalm today. They're just people, human beings like me. Okay, they're not no greater because they're a celebrity and they're making all this money and they're out there being seen by millions of people. And then people who are of low estate are but a breath, right? So in the balances, it balances up, up, up. It balances up, and they're together lighter than a breath. So together they are just a breath. People of low estate, and that's why I speak to custodians who are cleaning the school. I look at them as like highly favored because they're cleaning. Cleanliness is next to what? Righteousness. When you're clean, your house is clean, it's free of clutter, the righteousness can flow easily through. So we don't put trust in extortion. No vain hopes on robbery. Remember I mentioned that with the two people going in to rob a store, and the one doesn't want to. He's standing up for righteousness, but he's attacked because he's standing up for what is right. So we don't put no trust in extortion. We're not going to extort somebody. Oh, I'm going to take these pictures, these text messages you've been sending me, telling me you love me and all this stuff, and I'm going to send it to your girlfriend. No, I'm not. No, that's extortion and vain hopes on robbery. I'm not going to rob you from anybody you're with. Stay there. Stay there. So when riches increase, don't set your heart on them. When I won the jackpot, when was it? Saturday, I won the jackpot. I'm not going to set my heart on that. Riches going to increase. You're going to get increase. I'm going to get increase of, I want increase of health. Health to me is better than money. So that's what's rich for me. Being rich is about being knowledgeable about who you are and how you excel in this life. What makes you a better person? How can you be better today than you was yesterday, right? Yesterday I cried and I wept over, saying goodbye to Texas, my memories of that and all the memories that I built there with, my ex-fiance and, all of that. Just saying goodbye to it was rich. It was rich, and I'm not going to set my heart on monetary riches. So righteousness has spoken once. Twice you have listened. That power belongs to righteousness. That's God. And that to righteousness belongs steadfast love. So within that righteousness, you got that steadfast love. That love that doesn't stop. So when somebody leaves you for someone else, or you leave someone for someone, or whatever the case may be, someone cheated on you, they didn't tell you that they wanted to, whatever the case may be, guess what? That steadfast love of righteousness doesn't stop because they stopped. Just because somebody stopped loving you and they loving someone else, they're all up under someone else, they're booed up, locked in, that doesn't stop steadfast love from being with you. Because the power belongs to righteousness, and to righteousness belongs steadfast love. It's a relationship. We got righteousness and steadfast love. They're bedmates. They're romantic. They're making love together, right? Steadfast love and righteousness. They're just kissing up each other and loving. And that is going to render, when you do something, you're going to return, that's going to return to you. So righteousness is going to render. There's a righteous rendering to anyone according to their work, right? According to their work. So Selah and Selah again. That was the psalm today, and I love it because it gives us, really sets us in a right place. So we're good to people, we're honest with people, we're what is that? Forgiving of people, we're long suffering with people. Okay. When it comes to long suffering, you're not going to be suffering in an abusive relationship, right? People are in abusive relationships physically, they're getting beat by someone. Intellectually, somebody is putting them down and dumbing them down, really. Emotionally, okay, people are being abused emotionally. Um, and how that happens is sometimes people act like the victim, and it's like a narcissistic kind of abuse, emotional abuse. So when we see abuse happening, we see it in these different areas: physically, intellectually, emotionally, and socially. People can abuse you socially, where they limit your social interactions. Okay, you can't talk to this person, you can't see this person, you can't that person, you da 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 da. That's abuse. When you try to hold on to someone so tight that they're not, you're gonna lose them. You're gonna lose them. So, Selah and Selah again. This is the Psalm today, 62. And I wanted to look at the word today. Where is that? The word today. So the word today, let me find the word today, y'all. The word today is, okay, what is happening? Okay, let's get the word today. I don't know what's happening to this. So, I'm trying to get the word today and it's not coming up. Ah, what is happening to the internet? So, let me look and see if I can find it, y'all, in this. I think it's prosperity is the word today. What is the word today? Let's see. Sign in. This is from dailyword.com, so you can go and find this as well. They have a daily word every day. Um, and the word today is forgive. Ha! I love it. The word today is forgive. So I found it, everyone. Forgive. I forgive. Oh no, that's not. That's for the 26th. Sorry. Let's go for today's October 1st. Oh my gosh. October 1st. And let's see what is. Yesterday was let go, let God. Today is fearless. We are fearless. Woo, 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 woo. Fearless. October 1st, fearless. I fearlessly keep my mind and heart open. What did I just say? The psalm just talked about opening your heart, surrendering your heart to righteousness, right? So that it can be healed and you can be okay. So when I feel afraid, my first instinct might be to close my heart, my mind and heart. This impulse for self-protection is understandable. However, it also has the potential to stunt my spiritual and emotional growth and shield me from life. So when you're self-protecting so much, it can be it can stunt your righteousness. It can stunt your emotional growth. So don't be so, you know, self-protecting of your heart. You don't want to be closed, you know, minded. I like open-mindedness. So staying open to new ideas and experiences, you know, staying open to new ideas and experiences may sometimes require me to put hesitation aside and be fearless. When this feels difficult, I call upon the presence of righteousness. That's going to help you. That's within you. My source of righteous strength. Because guess what happened to me? This is a testimony. I look at my Instagram, I put it on there. When I was flying yesterday from Texas and I had an overweight bag, right? Put it on the thing. Guess what? The agent at the counter said, just pay it forward. I said, what in the world? I was like, think I was afraid I'm gonna have to pay $100. You know, you're in this way. And El Sue, thank you. Yes, we are to live without fear because, and I what happened? Let me tell you. I released that. I said, you know what? It's just money. I'll pay it, whatever the overweight is. That's what I took the fear out of my mind now. I released the fear to not be worried about it. And when that happened, it was instant. Instant. The man said to me, you pay it forward. And I already did because my friend that I stayed with in Texas, I gave her like $100. You know, I took her out to brunch. You know, I gave. She gave me a bunch of stuff and clothes, and she allowed me to keep my things at her place. You know what I mean? Very kind. And so when that happened at the airport, it was like I got it back. It was returned to me. So when we look at the source and the presence within, my source of strength is coming from there. I was afraid like I would have to pay $100. But I released the fear. I let it go. And within me, wasn't fear. It was, you know what? Righteousness, goodness, and mercy. Let me stay in that place. Forgiveness, you know, I'm not going to worry. And boom. The agent at the ticket counter put my bag and he said, go pay it forward. He did not take any money from me. I said, to God be the glory. Because God knows my heart and knows that being fearless is what is going to get you through. And people who are cowards, they're not fearless. They're afraid of the person they're with. They're afraid of standing up for what they believe. They're pushovers. People push them around and they allow it. People need to live in a fearless state of mind because you're going to reap the benefits. This is an example I'm just giving you here. And yes, El Sue, the joy in the Most High is eternal. Even when we are gone, that joy is going to be maintained. Be rest assured that. We're not here forever. We're not here forever. That's why we have to love each other today. Stop being hateful of people's exes and who they were in the past. Live for the present moment and embrace the present. That is going to keep you in the grace and the glory of God. That is righteousness and mercy. So with God, I can do all things. With righteousness, I can do all things, and I'm not going to be afraid. Living as a divine being that I am, I see the world and its creatures as wondrous and its people as fellow righteous beings. Even though that person called me on the phone, left a voicemail and cursed me out, I look at them as a fellow righteous being. They just don't know that. They don't know who they are. So they attack me because they don't know who they are. So knowing the truths keeps my mind and heart open. I am fearless. I am blessed, highly favored, wonderfully made, and fearless. I'm going to add that to that list. Add it to the list. You are blessed, highly favored, wonderfully made, and fearless. And that is the word today, fearless. And it's being brought to you today by Psalm 27. That's my number. Okay, 927. Every place I drove in Texas, I kept seeing 927, 927, 927. Boom, the jackpot. People say, how come you always get, how come I always receive? It's because I'm staying in that good place. I'm not going to curse you out. I'm not going to leave a voicemail cursing you out. I'm not going to hate you because you left me. I'm not going to try to do something bad to you because you stabbed me in the back and twisted the knife into my stomach. I'm not going to do that. Because remember the Beatitudes, right? We're going to stay in a positive attitude that's going to take us up to an altitude that is with the Most High. That is that righteousness. That's almighty goodness from above. So this word today, fearless, is brought to you today by Psalm 27 verse 1. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Whom shall I fear? Should I fear you with a gun pointed at me? No, because what is my flesh is going to stay here anyway. So I rather leave it here fighting for righteousness than leave it here fighting for wrongness. Okay? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Who shall I be afraid of? You think I'm going to be afraid of you? Or you? Or that person? I'm not going to sneak around behind a person back because I'm afraid what they're going to do. No, I'm going to be out in the open, in the front, in the light. I'm not going to hide in the darkness. I'm going to come out in the light because I am light. I can't hide in the darkness and cheat and sneak around. Okay? Like a rat. I'm not nocturnal. I'm not a nocturnal animal. I don't sneak around in the dark. I don't do that. That's why I kept screenshots of text messages so I could have it, because people sneak around and do things, and I don't. I'm gonna be out in the open as I do here on the Chant A Psalm. I'm telling you all my business, like my relationship and this happened and blah blah blah, and how I cope with it, and how I stay in the righteousness' place. People say stay in your lane. I stay in God place, in Jah place, in Selassie first, Rastafari, Kadamawe Aile, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nisi. I stay in that. I marinate in it, and I'm like, ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. I stay in that space, okay? And that's the space I'm gonna be in. People try to pull you out of it. They try to take you out of that space, out of your goodness. But guess what? You got to be the example of what goodness is. People may not know. So you got to be that example. So Psalm today 62, amazing. Just simply amazing. I love it. I love Psalm 62. We're talking about waiting for God alone. I'm not going to wait for you. I'm not waiting for you. I'm not waiting for you. I'm waiting for righteousness. When I see it, I'm going with you. Okay? I'm going to wait for that. All right. And the Psalm today, 62, echoes the verse today coming from Matthew, the Beatitudes, right? Matthew 5, the Beatitudes. This is the Sermon on the Mount, you know. And when others revile you and persecute you and utter all kinds of evil against you and falsely on the account of your righteousness, because you're talking your truth and your righteousness, and they don't want to hear it. They want to persecute you. They're going to revile you. And they want to, utter all kinds of evil against you because you're standing in your truth and your righteousness. Guess what? Blessed you're going to be. You're going to be blessed. So tell the truth. Stand up for that. Tell the truth and shame that evil one. Okay? Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in idleness, in happiness. You're going to have a happy future, right? That's where you're going to be, because your reward is great in your joy. Joy, according to El Su, is in the Most High is eternal. So rejoice and be glad, because that's what's going to be sustaining always. So we have the Psalm 62, we have Matthew 5, the verse of the day, and we have the word of the day, fearless, brought to you today by Psalm 27, verse 1. The Lord is my light, and who is the Lord? The Lord is good, the Lord is kind, the Lord is mercy, the Lord is compassion, the Lord is grace, the Lord is long-suffering, the Lord is forgiveness, the Lord is fearless. This is what we are to be about. Staying in that place. For the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? I'm not going to fear you. I'm not going to fear that person. I'm not going to fear you leaving a voicemail cursing me out on the voicemail. I'm not going to be afraid. You think that's going to scare me? That doesn't scare me, little girl. It doesn't. That doesn't scare me, because who is my light and my salvation? I got an advocate behind my back. I got an advocate on the left, on the right, in front and back. I have an advocate. That can't scare me. Oh, no way, Jose. Because my life is for God. My life is given over to the Most High. I'm not giving it over to any human being person. I'm going to give it over to what I don't see. Because what I don't see is eternal. But people are temporary. Temporary. So I give thanks for this psalm today, for the words today, and for the enlightenment today. We're going to end off October 1st with Max Lucado. What does he have to say? The true test of faith. The true test of faith. Have your faith been tested? Has it been tested? Well, guess what? This word today is brought to you by 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13. When we are not faithful, right? Righteousness will still be faithful. Right? All the time. And what did where is it? We are to be faithful. When look, let me translate it. When we are not faithful, like when we lose faith, that's a real thing. People can lose faith. They can be, God, where's God? God isn't helping me. What is happening to me? I'm in this situation, and and people are not faithful. People may not be faithful in their marriages. People may not be faithful in their relationships. People may not be faithful in their jobs. People may not be faithful in their family. People may not be faithful in a lot of things, okay? However, righteousness will still be faithful. That's why people are temporary. Look, we are humans. We want another human being, right? People got soulmate. You got a mate here that's your life partner, right? That's fine and dandy, but don't get caught up. Remember that they're temporary. Everything is temporary on this earth. It's not, Somebody said, you're dust, you're going to return to the dust. I'm not dust. I am the fire that makes the dust, that turns things into dust. I am the fire. Okay? I named my daughter Fire because that's who we are. We are that burning fire. And that fire is of the Most High, because around and about the Most High is a fire. It's a cleansing. That's why it's written, cleanse the word in the fire 7 times, because that's what fire does. It cleanses. It washes away wickedness from the earth. So righteousness will still be faithful even when people are not, because righteousness must be true to who righteousness is. Right? Because you got to be true to who you are. A banana tree is true to a banana tree because the fruits are a banana. A banana tree is not going to grow an apple. It's being true to its nature. It's being true to its purpose. So what is your purpose? Are you being true to your purpose? Right? What is your purpose? So righteousness must be true to who righteousness is. So when you are not faithful, righteousness is still going to be faithful. That's why when people leave a relationship and one person gets into another, the loyal, faithful one doesn't. That loyal, faithful one stays by themselves. Okay? But the person who wasn't loyal and faithful, they already booed up. They already locked in. They already in it like Flynn. Okay? So Max Lucado says, it's not hard to have faith when all of our bills are being paid and our kids are healthy and our marriage is intact. It's not hard to have faith when God gives us everything we want. The true test of faith comes when circumstances are difficult, when our train of hope gets derailed. That's when true test of faith comes, when circumstances are difficult. So when you're in a marriage and you're having a difficult situation, difficult circumstances, guess what? Have faith and long suffering in your and honesty, and talk to each other, communicate. Don't go and talk to somebody else because they might not know God and the 10th commandment about not coveting a person's relationship, and they may lead the person astray. They may bamboozle, run amok, and this is how people get into situations that they may not like, because the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And when you leave someone to go into something else and you find that, wait a minute, this is not what I want, you're already there and you got to make your bed. You made your bed, you got to lay in it. Marinate in that. Okay? Because that's where you put yourself. So Max Lucado, October 1st, the true test of faith is when circumstances are difficult. Okay? An example is what I gave you about my the American airline ticket agent who told me to pay it forward. Okay? He told me to pay it forward. My faith was tested because I was like, I gotta pay $100, and I let it go. And the true test of faith comes when circumstances are difficult. That was difficult. I was like, oh my God, do I have enough money? And our test of faith comes when circumstances are difficult and when our train of the future gets derailed. Like we get off our track, and something happens that gets us off our track. Okay? And when that happens, we have to remember the faith. And faith without works is nothing. You can't have faith without works. Like Jacob had faith that he was going to get the love of his life, Rachel. So his faith kept him. His faith was like, look, I'm going to work for her dad for 7 years and I'm going to be okay. I have faith. So even though he couldn't get what he wanted, he had faith in that difficult circumstance to keep working in his in his faith. So whatever goal you have, you keep working towards your goals. Keep working towards your goals. Okay. This was Max Lucado's comment. The true test of faith is from the Walking with the Savior. I love this little book because it gives it gives the scripture and it gives a comment about it. So I know we're at the hour and I have to head out, take my son to work, but I wanted to share real quick. We're in the New Testament starting October 1st. So we're in the book of Matthew, and I'm glad that the verse of the day came from Matthew because we're going into the book of Matthew now. This is the genealogy of Jesus, the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham, Matthew 1:1. So we're going into the book of Matthew. You can never starve the person who feeds on God's promises. I love that. You can't starve me because I feed on the future vows that God made. And my vow to that creator that made me, because it's okay if you believe in a creator that created you. That's fine. You may not believe in a creator that created. You may believe it's your mom and dad and that's it, and DNA and all that, and that's it. Some people believe in a higher love, and that higher love can never starve you. You can never starve or offer that higher love. Okay? But when you put your trust in people and expectations in people, you may kind of starve some because they may cheat on you. They may do stuff, okay? So put yourself fully in the Most High, okay? Fully in the Most High, and you will feed on that, the promise of the Most High, okay? And I know some of you got to go to work because we're heading up on the 9 a.m. hour, but I just wanted to share October 1st with you. We're going into the book of Matthew. We're looking at the genealogy of the Messiah, Joseph accepting this as his son, even though that wasn't, he didn't, Mary was pregnant and he took her in as his. That's real. That's real powerful because Joseph didn't think about who the baby was for. He's not worried about her ex. Joseph wasn't threatened by her ex. Joseph was like, look, I am going to take you in, because Joseph was in the place of the Most High. That's where he dwells. So he was like, look, I'm not into all this foolish jealousy and insecurity and envy and all that. I'm going to handle this. He had balls, okay? He wasn't a coward. He had a backbone, okay? A snake doesn't have a backbone. A snake slithers on the ground. They don't have a back. They can't stand up for nothing. But Joseph stood up. He stood up for this woman. And then we have the Magi visiting the Messiah. So after Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him. So the star in the sky signaled that when King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. In Bethlehem in Judea, they replied, for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem in the land of Judah, and by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people. Who will shepherd my people? Doesn't that sound like Selassie the First? It does. So then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He went to Bethlehem and said, go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me so that I too may go and worship him. And they had heard the king. They went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose right went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense and myrrh. Frankincense and myrrh. I talked about that today. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. So they're on the escape, right? They escape to Egypt. John the Baptist prepares the way, the baptism, and it's beautiful, y'all. So we got to stay in the scripture. Stay in it. Stay in it. And I recently in my relationship, I kneel on the side of the bed and we say, we talk to God before we go to rest. That's a must. Okay, it's a must. I must. There's a fly in here. I must do that. So in relationships, when you stay in righteousness, you're going to have less arguments, less strife, less jealousy, and less insecurity, and all of that's going to go away. But when you don't stay in the place of goodness and mercy and righteousness, you're going to have situations that's going to come up. That's misunderstandings going to happen, miscommunication. You're going to have a lot of misses. So don't miss the mark. Get on the mark, okay? Get on the mark. Selah and Selah again. Get on the mark. So we are thankful for this day. I got to run, guys. I got to go. Have a blessed day, everybody. We are chanting the psalm today. We're giving thanks all over. I'm on the gram and I'm on live on YouTube. Let's get this going, y'all. What are you going to do today to be fearless? Be fearless. Be fair. What are you going to do today to be fearless? What are you going to do? Leave it in the comments. Subscribe to this channel. Like this video, y'all. I'm only seeing 1 like and 3, 4, 5 people on here. Like this video. Have a blessed day, everyone. Remember, stand in love. Don't fall in it.